Hello, good morning, and welcome to Thoughts and Updates and slightly overcast Easter Sunday here in Kirkintilloch in Scotland. And it's been a week in which we are now formally and officially in self-isolation. My stepdaughter Kira, has come back with symptoms which have been diagnosed by NHS 24 as COVID-19 symptoms, potentially. Therefore, we are all now in the house and not allowed out for a period of 2 weeks. So I've been doing that now for 3 days. It's not much different than what it was before, apart from, of course, we can't go and get shopping, we can't go and get exercise, we can't go and do a variety of things, which has been a little bit of a challenge. Grateful yesterday to Grandpa Eddie, who went off and got us our shopping, and to Kira's good friend Susie, who also got us stuff. So the reliance upon other people is something that, and the reliance upon community is something that's been perhaps illustrated far more now because of what has happened than in the past. Is there a change therefore coming? That we're going to look at how we run our society, how we do things, due to what we have found out, which is that the free market, capitalism, can't cope with pandemics, but states can. That they have the ability to go and borrow sufficient money in order to keep us afloat, to keep our families with food on the table, with food stacked on shelves, that we have to intervene within communities and within society in order to protect the most vulnerable. I can't remember whose quote it was, but I was talking about it during the week with Lorna, where a society should not be judged by the wealth of those who can, but by the ability of society itself to look after those who cannot. And I think that this is probably demonstrated to all of us. As Jeremy Corbyn said when he left in his valedictory interview with the BBC, that the state and the government are able to do things which for many, many years we've been told they can't. And not only told that we can't, that they can't afford. That it's ridiculous, nonsensical and stupid. I noticed my mate Ricky was also being attacked by some guy on Facebook, suggesting that Ricky hated Boris because he wasn't going to go out and clap for him at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night for a speedy recovery. I didn't go out, and I don't go out and do the clapping at 8 o'clock, not because I don't believe that the NHS are heroes. After all, I've got a daughter in the house here who works for the NHS, proud to work for the NHS, and the reason that she's been diagnosed with COVID-19 is because she's a nurse. She's a frontline worker. I don't go out and do it because I believe that my duty responsibility to order and ensure that we have some kind of future for our society, and indeed for the National Health Service and the care sector, who are also being relied upon, and shop floor workers who have suddenly been discovered to be far more important to us as a society and a community than all the lawyers and accountants and all the ones that the bankers, the ones we were told that would leave us distraught at the crash if we didn't reinstate their bonuses. We've discovered that they're about as useless as half of the hand sanitisers that are being sold in corner shops. Why? Because in order to function, the wheels of our society require those who we pay least to do their best. And then we have been forgiving those who do the least our best wishes. And that has been wrong for decades. We seem to be getting closer and closer to some kind of consensus. And that consensus would be that the NHS is the vanguard of our communities. That if we properly fund it, and it has been starved of funding for so long, we weren't ready for this. I don't know many countries in the world that were ready for this. I don't certainly think that America, for example, has been ready for this. The bastion of capitalism and free marketeering, on paper at least, has not been ready. So as we come out of this, when you get your pay slip and you look through it and you get angry and upset, look at the amount of tax I'm paying, think about where it goes. Every single time people sit there and go, look at the amount of tax I'm paying, you're denying the National Health Service, frontline service workers, adequate pay because you don't believe you should be paying in the pot. That's the practical, positive change that you can make, is to start to reconnect what you pay into the pot with what you expect to take out it. So, here we are in a mad world, or at least a world attempting to deal with some kind of madness that began somewhere on the other side of the world. And as pollution lifts because cars are not on the road and factories are not churning things out, and the world begins to look like a far cleaner place, what we're doing about sport. I've not been writing a lot about sport this 2 or 3 weeks, simply because there's nothing happening. And yet over the last couple of days there's been an interesting development in football. Come to that in a second. In boxing, lots of discussions about fantasy fights and who should fight, and there have been virtual fights, and the World Boxing Super Series put a heavyweight contest up, a virtual heavyweight contest, Tyson versus Ali in the final, Butter being one of the top 8. All of the things that could be described as controversial. Dana White thought he was going to get the UFC up and running in April, and it would appear that that's not the case. He was hoping to do fights behind closed doors, but it's not going to happen in April. May, probably not either. June, who knows. July, we're into school holidays in Scotland, not quite in England. And that, educationally for me, has been a dip in my income, because I tutor face to face and I've lost every single one bar one. The cancellation of the exams has meant that nobody needs a tutor now, because your tutoring is about preparing children for exams, and we don't have people don't have that indeed at the moment. Online, I've been doing one tutorial a week on a Wednesday night, and I'm also marking my A-level English language and A-level English literature papers. I'm now second marking somebody else. My marking went, I had 13 to mark, which took me an entire weekend to do what I consider properly. I'm now cross-marking 5, and that is going to lead to us coming to a view as to what their grade would be, and that's going to be, hopefully, if accepted by the Qualifications Authority, the grade that they're going to get. Schools are going to work together to put together some kind of grading system for all of the children in their care. And for the first time ever in Scottish education, exams have been cancelled. Even through 2 world wars, they weren't cancelled. Even through the teacher strike, when I sat my exams in the 80s, early 80s, they still were held, and they were still marked. However, this year is unprecedented. Football, Scottish football, once again has tied itself in knots. Here's the background. Football has not been played since March. At the point at which they stopped playing football, all of the leagues were suspended. We are now in April, heading towards May, and what's going to happen next? Because in May, Scottish Cup final would happen, the end of the last cup competition. There's the Centenary Cup, or it's the Tunnocks Tea Cake Cup now for the lower leagues. Final hasn't been played. The leagues have not been played to an ending. No relegation or promotion has been sorted. There has not been playoffs, and down in the lower leagues in particular, Kelty Hearts and Brora Rangers, who are at the top of the 2 leagues underneath the pyramid of professional football in Scotland, the Scottish Professional Football League, or the SPFL, have not had an opportunity to play against each other, or the lowest placed club in the Scottish Professional Football League, Brechin City, to find out who would get into or stay in the Scottish Professional Football League. If that sounds confusing, then playing football to the end of the season would resolve it, and we'd know who was going up in leagues, who was going down in leagues, who was going to win the cups, who were going to be the champions, and so on, etc, etc, etc. We don't have that. So the Scottish Professional Football League sat down and came up with an idea. Let's call it now. So whatever your league placings are now, and that's the end of the season, and we'll start afresh in August. Well, those who are at the top of leagues love it. Of course they do. Celtic, Dundee United would win. They would be crowned champions of the Premiership and the Championship. Raith Rovers and Edinburgh City, I believe, would be crowned champions of League 2 and League 1. Those teams just behind them, if you take the Premiership, it's Rangers. No so happy, because they believe they could catch the people who are at the top of the league. So they want to wait and see if we can play in July or August, or extend the season or get some kind of, God forbid, summer football on the go in order to finish the season off properly. They want to delay. Now, in order to get the money from the leagues, you have to finish the leagues. So right now at this moment in time, what we have is clubs really struggling, potentially going to go to the wall. I can certainly see a number of clubs, the likes of your Cowdenbeath, Stirling Albions, unable to meet their ongoing demands for wages for backroom staff and players, and eventually could go to the wall. We have 42 Scottish professional football teams in Scotland. I don't think we're going to have 42 come August, September. We could have as few as 30 or 25. It's that precarious. To finish the league, when you're placed in the league, means money is released to you as a club from the central pot, which is why the Scottish Professional Football League and others want to release that money, because it would save more clubs. So we have a bizarre set of circumstances where it would seem so far, in everybody's opinion, to be absolutely the ideal thing to do. Just call it quits, pay the money, everybody's happy. Unless you're Hearts. Unless you're a club sitting in a relegation spot, because you're going down into the league below. A bizarre system of working within the Scottish Professional Football League was they established it in order to set up this voting structure to make it fair. And anybody who went through the Rangers saga many years ago of liquidation and all the rest of it will know the phrase sporting integrity. Well, to make it fair, 75% of each league has to vote for it, which means 7.5 clubs, or basically 8. So in the lower leagues, and it's 10 in the Premiership. Now, apparently 10 out of 12 have voted for this resolution in the Premiership. Rangers, behind Celtic, and Hearts to be relegated, have voted against. Leagues 1 and League 2 together, combined, have voted for it. 16 have voted for it out of the 20. So 80%. All good. The Championship. Now in the Championship, 2 clubs have voted against. 7 have voted for. Dundee's vote hasn't been received. The deadline was 5 o'clock on Good Friday. However, under the rules, that's not really a deadline. It's a suggested deadline. They've got 48 days, or 28 days, I think 28 days to put their vote in. And they've made it quite clear privately that they're going to vote against. However, their vote hasn't arrived. They believe they've sent it. There's something going on. But one part of Scottish football has not had a vote at all, has not had a say in it. The fans. Like all sports, the fans are an integral part of it. In Scottish football, probably more than any other sport, and certainly in Scotland. Where in horse racing, even in boxing and many other sports, fans don't have as much of a say or as much of a role. In football, fans are painting the terraces, raising money for strips, going out and doing fundraising activities, volunteering on the day, being an integral part of their club. Because football is an integral part of the fabric of Scottish society. And I say that as an Ayr United fan of a club who get less than 2,000 people every week to come and see them. Not the 40, 50, 60,000 that will go and see Celtic and Rangers. And I believe that the Scottish fans have been shortchanged. And it's not just I. The Scottish Football Supporters Association, of which I am a part, who have 72,000 members, also think that. So, pay attention, look on. Now, excuse me, I will go, as I said last time, and wash my hands before I do anything else after I've finished here. Now, the other thing that has happened, of course, is that the Fringe has been cancelled, and I was going to look out stuff for Shauna, colleague of mine, which I'm obviously not going to do because there's going to be nothing for her to go and see at the Fringe this year because it's not happening. Something that kept me warm this week, this past fortnight, is watching the telly. Alibi, the UK channel, has had 2 original pieces of work on. First one was Traces, which involved a certain Kieran Alexander Stewart, and the second is called Scarlet and the Duke. Scarlet and the Duke has a young Scottish actor by the name of Stuart Martin, who, and this is their second original piece of drama that Alibi have put on, and that means that 2 original pieces of Scottish drama have ex-members of Ayrshire Youth Theatre, our youth theatre that many, many years ago now I used to run along with all the kids in Ayr. Not bad. Warms you. Certainly does. Right this week I'm in the middle of doing something about John O'Carroll for Ringside Report and for Brad out in America. Hi Brad. What a bizarre time we live in, an absolute bizarre time we live in, and that certainly is as Putin is managing at the moment to force through the changes to the Russian constitution that would allow him to continue to be president. Imagine the thought that a suspension of voting in November would lead to the US presidential elections being postponed for a period of time, and that would mean Trump was in power for yet another year. I am, like many, absolutely appalled at the very thought. I'm going to finish something today on something that is a connection between what other artists have been doing, which has been online, doing dance, doing theatre, doing poetry readings, and this is a poem. It's a Scottish poem, and its connection is also with higher English, because it's an Edwin Morgan poem about Glasgow. It's called Good Friday. I hope you enjoy it. I love it. And as we look at the excuse me again, mist rolling in, not from the sea. It's a couple of days late, but this is taught in Scottish schools, and it goes like this. 3 o'clock, the bus lurches round into the sun. "Zis go," he flops beside me. "Right along Bass Street." "Oh, that's alright. See, I've got to get some Easter eggs for the kiddies. I've had a wee drink, I understand. You maybe think it's a funny day to be celebrating. No, but you see, I wasn't working, and I like to celebrate when I'm not working. I don't say it's right. I'm not saying it's right, you understand? You understand? But anyway, that's the way I look at it. I'm not born yet. You see, today, I don't know what day, today's neither. Whether Christ was crucified or was he rose for the dead, like, see what I mean? You're an educated man, you can tell me, well, there you are. It's been seen time and again. A working man has no education, he just can't, just as they got it. You know what I mean? He's just bloody ignorant. Christ, I bloody ignorant. Well, the bus brakes violently. He lunges for the stair, swings down off into the sun for his Easter eggs. On very nearly steady legs. So, stay safe, stay home, and see you in a week's time. Bye for now.